Okay, we are live. Hello, guys. Hope you're all good. Oh, Pakistan, man. They were giving me a bit of a shock at the start. I was thinking to myself, oh no, what's going to happen here? If we're a couple of runs behind, no one's really in. And, Azhar Ali gritted out a nice 51. And what a knock. What a knock by Fawad Alam getting his 100. Unfortunately, just fell now to Ngidi, but he's been struggling with his wrist as well. But what a fighting knock! Seriously, unbelievable knock from him, and yeah, just what a match so far. I think it's been very, very competitive. To be fair, when Pakistan were getting skittled at the start, when we were about 33 for four, you're thinking, okay, this is going to be difficult, right? It's going to be really, really difficult. But I think now. As we look into it, it's looking pretty good. So yeah, I mean, happy times, happy times. Really excited as well to see the rest of the session, and let's just go for it. Asjad will be joining as well shortly, and yeah, just can't wait, cannot wait. So let's. I mean, Hassan Ali come back, right? I mean, he scored 100 in the Qadi Azam Trophy recently, so he come back. Um, yeah, so let's just go for it. Let's just go for it. We can 100%. I think. Um, yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. All right, let me just get this all sorted. Put it all on social media. Make sure everyone knows. I mean, what a knock though by Fawad Alam, right? What a knock. Um, the guy just, it's funny when he got to 50, he just put his bat up to say, you know what, don't worry, like it's not a big deal, I'm going to get to 100. And he did. And of course, and to be fair to Faheem Ashraf, what a knock as well, 56 or 72. I know he's been a bit fortunate, dropped on, I think it was 21 from Rabada, but he's been very brave in the way he's played, and he's played. It's similar almost to the 91 he scored in New Zealand, I think, and he has all the shots. To be fair, I mean, he goes a little bit hard at the ball, but to be honest with you, as a tail ender or I guess low order batsman is what he'll be classed as at number 8 or 7. He does a very, very good job. He scores pretty quickly. He looks to play a counter-attacking innings, and that's really what you need down the order, and valuable runs. I mean, he's 56 off 73 for now. I mean, it's been a very, very good knock, and that partnership between him and Fawad Alam was just exemplary, to be honest with you. Quality knock, and hopefully Pakistan can continue to grow that lead, because I think it's now a lead of 60. I'll update the score below at the end of the over. Asjad from Cricket4Us 2.0 will be joining us as well very shortly. He's just tied up at the moment in a meeting, but he'll be joining in the next probably 6-7 minutes or so. Yeah, for you guys watching, what do you think of the day's play so far? I mean, surely at the start of the day, I'm thinking to myself, this could be pretty messy for Pakistan. I don't even know if we're going to get to that 220 that South Africa had. But now, when you look at it, I'm just thinking to myself, okay, all right, we're doing a good job here, right? We're doing a very good job. Lead of 60, so can't wait to see what happens now. Yeah, it'll be good. So I can't wait. Hassan Ali, actually, I'm interested to see how he does here, because he'll probably have a little bit of a license to just kind of swing. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. I'm assuming he's just going to go pretty relatively aggressive and try and push us to that 100 lead mark, which I think everyone keeps on saying to me, when you've got that 100 lead mark, that means that you're pretty much in the game to win the test match. So Let's see. Let's see though. Norkane, it hasn't been bowling as quickly as I would have expected. I know it's a slow track anyway, but I think 86 miles per hour. I've seen him get down to 82, 83, and I think Rabada has kind of kept up with him, and Rabada is very quick as well. But Norkie, for me, I mean, in the South Africa series, I know again, well, the Sri Lankan series even, I know it was at home, but he was bowling like wheels. I think there was an over where he bowled 90 plus every single delivery. I think actually it was between 93 and 95. So, and he hasn't bowled particularly long spells. So I'm not sure what it is. I think he has been trying to swing the ball more than usual. So yeah, I think it's one of those things. Matt, hi Matt, how you doing? Good to have you in the chat. I've only been able to follow on Cricket Info. How's the pitch playing? Yeah, the pitch is playing pretty slowly. So I was just talking about Norkie bowling not as quick as usual. It's been pretty slow. Day one, it was turning quite a bit. To be fair, Yasir Shah got quite a bit of turn and more than even Maharaj did today. But I think that's just the revs he was putting on the ball. So it's quite slow, quite dusty, and the kind of pitch that you'd normally see, say, for example, in England on a day 4, day 5 pitch, in terms of the type of turn you're getting. But on towards the back end of yesterday, it started becoming too paced, and for some reason, the pitch started to break up, and that's why, for example, Abid Ali got one from Rabada, which kept low and cleaned him up. And the second one actually was to Imran Butt, the other opener. And Rabada bowled, it was actually on a fuller length, but it reared up and it hit him on I think it was the glove, and he got caught at short leg. So the pitch became too paced a little bit, so it's quite difficult to bat on. And so today, Fawad Alam, even after getting that 100, there were points throughout really the knock where he had to contest with dodgy bounce, but he kind of just wore it and kind of went on. But I think you can see with Maharaj, he's used the spin pretty well. But on the whole, what I would say is that the South African spinners have maybe bowled a bit too quick through the end, a bit too flat. Whereas Yasir Shah has adapted to the conditions. He normally bowls quite quickly, but he was bowling a bit slower, letting the ball do the work and got more deviation off the surface. So that'll be good. A bit weird how South Africa have used a new ball because they went with Maharaj and then Rabada, which of course you're going to go with Rabada. Also, the older ball was actually reversing. So Ngidi got Mohammad Rizwan with a really good ball that reversed, and he nicked behind after Mohammad Rizwan looked like he was in good form. So I think, to be honest with you, the pitch at the moment is pretty interesting. It's got a little bit there for the bowlers, as you can tell by the score, right? So I think it's a good test match pitch. I think, which is at the moment giving a good competitive game, but is one that I think once you get in a little bit, there is reward for you there, but you still need to watch out for the patches and that deviation or two-paced track. Faheem's just cut one from Ngidi straight to the boundary, playing really well, 60 off 78 now. Yeah, this has been a quality knock from him so far. 60 off 78 is almost an ODI innings really nowadays. So he's doing a good job. Doing a very, very good job for sure. Let's see how we go as well. Looking forward to having Asjad let me. Hassanli's 1 off 4, Faheem 60 off 78. Scores 286 for 7, and lead of 66. I mean, Ngidi's not express like Norkie, but he's got pretty good control, it seems, actually. He's still pretty young. I think he's 23, 24. And he plays all 3 formats now for the Proteas, as they like to be called. I actually think he wasn't going to play. I think Shamsi was going to instead, the left-arm Chinaman, but he got injured in the warm-up, and in came Ngidi, and he's done a pretty good job, I think. But South Africa's choice in terms of bowling options has been strange. They had Aidan Markram with the new ball at one point, which to me is bizarre because he's a part-time spinner. Oh, what a shot. Faheem has just flicked. He's just flicked Ngidi off his hips with ease for 4. Quality shot. I'm not just saying that because it's my channel name. keep on saying that, but it's probably why I call my channel that, because I can say it all the time, and just constantly advertise it. I love how Faheem doesn't. He has that really, club cricketer, no sticker bat. Surely he's going to get picked up at some point. I mean, he's good enough, right, to be sponsored by someone. I'm surprised CA haven't picked him up, like from Pakistan at least, or someone like that. I'm sure if he keeps on batting and performing like he's doing, he'll definitely pick up a sponsor. All right, let's go. Had to change the photo. I'm 8 years old and 5 stones. I was going to say that. I was going to say, Matt, that's from ages ago, isn't it? That picture must be 8 years older. 8 years? Is that from before uni? You look. I mean, that photo looks like you from uni, to be honest with you. But yeah, okay. Let me just quickly update the scoreboard even, and I'll get to your question. I'm sure you're not that much heavier, Matt. I'm sure you're not. I'm sure you're not 5 stone heavier. That must be a stretch, surely. Okie dokie. Had to change for it. Happy with Naman Ali's bowling? Yeah, to be honest with you, for a debut, it was quality for a debut. I have to say, I mean, he didn't bowl as slowly as someone like Yasir Shah. So what happened is he didn't get as much turn. So I think the variation was, so I think Yasir Shah got deviation of like 4.1 degrees and Naman Ali was like 2.6, something like that. But as a left arm spinner and he's coming around the wicket as well, it's going to be harder given the angle. But I think naturally he bowls more dart-like, if that makes sense. But in terms, I thought he was pretty tidy. He got a bit lucky with the Cox wicket. That got smashed to, I think it was mid-wicket, which is a really bad shot by de Kock, to be honest with you. Just really rash for some reason. I don't know why he played that, considering the form he's in. But yeah, I was impressed. I was actually happy with the way he bowled. I thought we might have gone with, so there's an off-spinner in the ranks, which I would have gone with. And his name it's Sajid Mahmood. No, not Mahmood. It's Sajid something. I've forgotten his name now, surname. But he definitely, I would have expected them to pick him because he's an off spinner. Then you've got a leg spinner. You've got spin both ways, and that can be effective. But they went with the left armer who's got the similar, obviously, turn away from the right hander, and it seemed to have worked, to be fair. Hello, Asjad.
Assalamu alaikum. You all right, man?
I'm good. We've got a couple of people in the chat, which is good. Fawad Alam just got out, but it's okay because Faheem Ashraf's batting well.
What did you get?
He got 106, I think it was. Yeah, and Gidi got him out. It was just a his wrist was playing up a little bit, I think, as well.
After he got hit with that ball, didn't he?
Yeah, he's got hit. I think he got hit 3 times actually, so that'll be why. Hello, Mr. Varatharajan. You look very smart. Big wicket. Yeah, Fawad Alam was a big wicket for sure. Shane Fawad Alam is out. He played so well. He did. I mean, it's funny. I was saying before Asjad that, when he got 50, he just nodded his head like, "Oh, yeah. It's all right. Don't worry about this. I'm gonna go get 100." And he did exactly that, didn't he? So that was really impressive.
This guy has an average of above 70 on this ground, right? And it actually shows. So I'm glad he batted well, proved all his haters wrong once again. And it shows that the New Zealand innings wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a fluke at all.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it shows it's not a fluke, and also it's his home ground, isn't it? So he's adapted to the conditions because he's used to them. And even though it's been a bit too paced, I think he played so well. And there are a couple of quality drives from him, or quality shots, as I'd say. But yeah, I was saying before, I have to advertise it because I can say quality shot and just advertise my channel. So I thought it's great. Just keep on saying that.
Go for it. Do it. Quality shot it all the way.
What lead do you think Pakistan will be happy with? So I think the commentators were saying 100. If you get around 100 lead in the first innings, then you're looking to win the match. But what do you think I should?
I think if they get at least 100, 110, I'll be happy, if that makes sense. But they should go for somewhere between 150 to 200 so that when South Africa come out to bat, because it seems like the pitch has gotten a bit easier to bat on. Clearly, from the way Faheem Ashraf's batting, what's his strike rate? What, 80 or something, right?
Yeah, he's been a bit streaky. There's a couple of outside edges. I think he got dropped on 21, but he's been brave, and I think he's got reward for it. But I think it's got slightly easier to bat on, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that drop by, was it QDK, Quinton de Kock?
Yeah.
He dropped that, yeah. Should have taken it, I'd say, with the guy. Oh, that was close. Oh, is that gone?
Oh, he's gone.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's so unlucky.
Oh, that's
He's
unlucky.
Oh, he's played on. Oh, it's a big wicket as well.
My dad left and a wicket fell straight away.
Oh,
no.
Oh, man. That's a shocker.
No.
He played so well as well. Damn.
And you know, there's so many times, like when a batsman batting, right? You play that ball, hits the stumps, and the bails don't fall off. Bails don't fall off. This time they do. Oh my goodness.
It's a really good ball by Norkie. It's a Yorker, and he just tried to get it out. Really, he just tried to make sure that it doesn't get bowled from it, and he's unlucky.
Yeah.
Tried to dig it out. That's the word I was looking for. Tried to dig it out, and unfortunately, just couldn't. Oh man.
One thing I'm kind of glad about that, you know, Shaheen's gone, so he was the worst batsman out of all of the Pakistani tail end, so he's already out. So let's see how Numan Ali on debut does. I think he'll probably come in next, or do you think Yasir Shah will?
I think Yasir Shah will, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't think it really matters, does it, too much, I'd say. Let's go. It reminds me of... Also, what do you think of Fawad Alam's technique? I think Fawad Alam's technique has been... I mean, look, it's very different. When he says it reminds him of, Shivran Chandapur, it does, doesn't it? It reminds him of Shivran Chandapur. And to be fair, I think it is weird, but in a way, it works for him. So that's the biggest thing, right? And if you watch when the bowler's running in, it changes. It's just his original setup looks weird, but he goes into a pretty orthodox position as the bowler's running in. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, one thing I think he used to bat very similar to Shivnarine Chandapur, and then he opened himself up even more. So his right leg is behind his left leg when he starts off, and slowly moves in, and then he bats the way that he does. So yeah, I don't mind his technique as long as he gets the runs, which he did today. So I'm happy about that. Numan Ali's coming next, so not Yasir Shah.
Yeah, Numan Ali's in. Yeah, which is fine. Hassan Ali's going to look to be aggressive, isn't he? I mean, let's be honest, that's the whole bat. He did score 100 in the final of the Qadi Azam Trophy, so he can bat a little bit. We know you can bat a little bit anyway, but
same ground as well.
Yeah, exactly, same ground as well. So just watching the replay there, I mean, he's just tried to dig out. He just hasn't quite. It's a very good Yorker, to be fair. He'll feel a little bit aggrieved, as you said, because a lot of the times the bails just don't come off. As a batsman.
What are your thoughts on Zinc Bales in Test matches?
Oh, that's interesting. You know, I don't know. I feel like it's a bit of a gimmick, to be honest. I wouldn't have it in Test matches. I don't think it's really needed, but I can see them probably introducing it at some point. But I feel like that's more for your T20 ODIs, you know, especially like day-night matches, or evening matches for T20s, where it's quite useful and it adds to the excitement of it all. But otherwise, I don't think it's a big thing. What do you think?
I personally think it could be something that could be introduced, mainly because, you know, there are decisions where it's touch and go. You don't know if the bails actually come off. And when it lights up, there is a significant difference between the two. So it can potentially help for, making decisions and things like that. That's why I was thinking. But I think in Test cricket, usually it's not as much of a big thing as it is in T20s and ODIs, where you've got that close decisions. So yeah, no, fair enough. No, I appreciate that. That's all right. What are your thoughts so far on Ngiri's bowling? Because he wasn't gonna be in the starting 11 initially.
Yeah, because Shamsi got injured in the warm-up, didn't he? Yeah, I think he's actually bowled pretty well, to be honest with you. I think he'll never be super miserly, but he'll get wickets, and he showed that today. And on a pitch where, to be honest, there's a little bit there because the variable bounce, etc., and it was reversing. He got the ball to reverse before. I thought it was good. So yeah, for sure. I think he's done a good job. I think Matt asked earlier actually, and I gave my view on it. But what do you think about how the pitch has been playing over the past 2 days?
Right. So the first day was exactly the same as, when Sri Lanka played here a couple of years ago. Slow, low, well, variable bounce like crazy. What is it? I think I put that stat up in our video. It was 6.9 out of 10 or 7 out of 10 in terms of variability. But today, maybe Pakistan have batted better, or maybe they've been, the South Africans haven't bowled as well. But I'd actually say the pitch has gotten a lot flatter today. It has spun. It has hit the rough and spun quite sharply with Maharaj. But in general, I think it's been playing fine. It doesn't look like the variable bounce has stayed there. After that new roller for the day, I think they've actually... hold on. Yeah. After the new roller, they've gotten more flat, the pitch. So that's actually helped the entire situation for the batsman, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's been slightly better, I think, in terms of batting wise. But I do think we've been a bit more sensible as well. And I think, for example, having Fawad Alam and Azhar Ali in, who'd faced quite a few balls, especially Azhar Ali yesterday, that would have helped him to adjust a little bit. And then Faheem Ashraf did well when he came in. Mohammed Rizwan, to be fair, got a really good delivery, I thought, by Ngidi that reversed a little bit, and he nicked behind. He was expecting it to swing away from him, and it didn't. It came in instead, and so he ended up nicking it behind. So I thought that was pretty unfortunate from his point of view. But a good little partnership between him and Fawad Alam, I thought.
Sorry, yeah, go on.
Yeah, go on. What are you saying?
I was just going to say, the ball to Rizwan, he set him up, didn't he? He bowled quite a few balls into him, the reversed into him, and then one that just stayed its line, and he kind of edged it. But this is what I've noticed. Nortje bowled a couple of deliveries that swung into him. He found it a bit difficult. Kyle Jamieson got him out a similar way in New Zealand. So maybe he does struggle a little bit with the ball reversing in, or at least swinging into him, into his pads, and he gets a bit too side on, and maybe tries to play on the leg side. Maybe he can try and play it more straight. What do you think?
Yeah, he got too leg side of the ball, so he was playing away from his body, and he need to get across and get in line with the ball. That's really what the issue was, and I think it's because, as you said, he was adjusting really because he thought the ball would end up coming in. Well, I think he actually thought he would be able to play more of an expansive drive, and he just wasn't able to there, and didn't adjust the line correctly. I think that would be my opinion on it. Mr. Varatharajan says, "How do you think South Africa have bowled today?" Go on, Nash. What do you think?
I think South Africa has tried to bowl in similar lines as yesterday, but Rabada is the only one who I thought has bowled well. Maharaj, again, George Linde, I thought was impressive early on because he was quite miserly, in your words. But in essence, I think Rabada is the only one that I was impressed by. Everyone else, Ngidi I wouldn't say he got bashed a bit, but he bowled inconsistent lines. Nortje was bowling very quick, but then he bowled a wide one, which it's a lot easier to slash at and go for 4. Like I said, Linde was inexpensive earlier on, but when he came back, then Pakistan started to, I'm going to use it as Joe rooting it, rather than, back in the day, it used to be called the Salim Malik. You just sweep everything over and over again. But now they swept him quite well. So that was good. So I think more than South Africa bowling particularly badly, I think Pakistan batted a lot better today. They were considering the fact that they need to play long, they need to play the entire day, instead of the way Pakistan clearly thought yesterday when, that dismissal of, Babar Azam, it just didn't look like a shot that Babar Azam would be playing in that circumstance. So that's why it just kind of irked me a little. But yeah, I think South Africa have done a decent job. Pakistan have just batted a lot better today.
Yeah, I think you'd expect Babar Azam to kind of go back to that, really. That's what I would expect. But yeah, I think let's see how it goes, I think. But Faheem Ashraf, I thought, did really well. We'll touch upon that in a little bit. One thing I'd say is that Nortje, his pace hasn't really been up. I think it's been quite... He dropped to like 82, 83 at one point. And I know at home, I know it's a different track, and obviously in South Africa, are known for being quicker tracks, and this is a pretty slow one. But I mean, he bowled a spell, I think, a couple of overs where he bowled between like 92 and 95 miles an hour, and that's really what he gives you, because he's not a huge swinger of the ball. He can swing the ball a little bit, but that's really his forte, I'd say, and what he really brings to the team. But Rabada, I think, has actually been bowling quicker than him and getting movement, so he's been a standout.
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing I've been impressed with Rabada, as you said, one is the speed, one is the pace, but the other is the way he's swinging and seaming the ball quite well. Unlike Nortje, he only got to tail in a couple of deliveries to Rizwan, but barring that, there wasn't much that he was getting done in that case. Ngidi, though, I think Ngidi reversed the ball the best out of all three of them. What do you think?
100%. I think Ngidi, he definitely reversed the ball the best. Rabada was the best for the new ball, clearly. He knows how to bowl with that. But Ngidi had very good control, I thought, reversing the ball. I thought I was quite impressed by him. Obviously not bowling at huge speeds, but it doesn't matter because he had good control. Mr. Ratharajan, do you think South Africa will be disappointing considering they had Pakistan for 27 for 4? It's a very good point, Asha. What do you think?
Yes, it's 299 for 8, right? You're kidding me. That they were 27 for 4. That's what, 270 runs added on, okay, with only 4 more wickets. So yeah, they'll definitely be disappointed. They'd be expecting, they were expecting Pakistan to, been allowed for a lower score, but exactly what we were expecting as we did our review yesterday. But I think I was impressed with the fact that the first session was wicketless. I think they scored 71 runs or something like that. No wickets fell. Pakistan steadied the ship, and they needed to play session by session, and I think that's what they did. As you can see on your screen right now, it says the first day lost 14 wickets at a run rate of 2.9. The second day, we've only lost 4 wickets with a run rate of 3.13. And so more runs, less wickets helped Pakistan. It could be that the pitch is flattening out, which I definitely think it is because of that new roller that they had at the start of the day. But every batting side gets that, don't they? So when South Africa come out to bat, they know exactly what to do to make this pitch flat as anything.
Yeah, 100%. And I think even though it might be a bit flatter when South Africa come to bat, I think Naman Ali and Yasir Shah will be backing themselves, won't they? I'm sure we might see someone like Fawad Alam get a few overs as well. Maybe if it drags out that innings as well. Let's see where, I think, though, Venny, you're 100% right. I think South Africa will be disappointed given, I don't think they let Pakistan back in the game, but their use of the second new ball especially was bizarre. They had Rabada and Maharaj open up, which was fine with the second new ball, but then they went to Linda and then they went to Aidan Markram, who actually had a pretty new ball. It was only like 5, 6, 7 overs old, which is still new, and he was bowling with it. And as a part-time spinner, I think that's really, really bizarre. And I'm surprised he didn't go with Nortje with the newer ball or Ngidi even. I think, or just stick with Maharaj and Rabada.
They'd exhausted Ngidi because he was bowling with
the older ball.
Old ball. Yeah, quite a bit. So this is the thing. This is where you need to understand if it's how often or how much do you use these faster bowlers, right? We've talked about, managing pace bowlers quite a bit. Oh, that's a shot by Hassan Ali, but straight to mid-on. Just a single, though.
Yeah, I agree.
I get to 300 for 8.
300 up. Well done.
100%.
To be honest, I said on the group yesterday that we wouldn't get to 300 plus, so I have to eat my words, and I'm glad I have to. I'm happy. Okay, what do you think of Faheem Ashraf's innings today? He went decent strike rate. Yep, we touched upon that. I think it was a good aggressive knock from him, proactive. He got a little bit lucky with a couple of outside edges and a drop on 21, which should have been taken by Quinton de Kock. But overall, it was a very good innings. I think he probably should. I'm now looking back at the replay. I think maybe he should dug it out a little bit better from Nortje, but it was unlucky a little bit as well. But
I just want to add something to Faheem Ashraf. So he was one of the biggest parts of Pakistan getting to 300 in the sense that if you saw that stat that came up in the past 350s were under 80 deliveries to get to each 50 score, which is really good, especially in a test match, right? And I was really glad about that. I think it was 70, 69, and 68 or something like that. So very well done from especially Faheem Ashraf, basically because he was doing a lot of the attacking.
Yeah.
Did you see that from Nouman Ali?
Yeah, I think
Stepping down.
Nouman Ali and Hassan Ali are doing a pretty good job. If we can make the tail wag more, just wag until that 100+ lead, then we're in. I think we're in the money.
I think Hassan Ali wants another 100.
Yeah, exactly. Ibrahim, thank you for joining us. Ibrahim says Inzamam was the main reason Fawad was maligned for over 10 years. Go on, Asjad. I'm sure you know more about this than me. I'm not as much into the team politics. What do you think?
I've heard things a lot, and this does seem to be factual. However, I don't think a lot of it was Inzamam. I think after about 2014, 15, it might have been Inzamam. After he changed his stance even more, that's where the Inzamam thing came in. But when he was dropped initially, Inzamam had nothing to do with the team. He had nothing going for him. You had Misbah back as captain of the Pakistan side for a little while. So I wouldn't blame Inzamam completely. I would blame the management and certain scouts who said, oh, how can he play like that? We don't want this guy to play for Pakistan because he plays weird, right? He has a weird stance. I think if he wasn't scoring runs, I'd agree with him. But if he scored runs, that's why I was like, well, Chandrapal used to do it. But then everyone gives the response of Shivnarayan Chandrapal is here, Fawad Alam is here. But now if you look at his first class record, he's got the second or third best batting average in first class cricket out of active players who are still playing first class or test matches or anything. And out of those, there's 3 Indians, there's 1 Australian, and there's a Pakistani at number 3. What do you think of Nortje bowling too many full tosses, by the way? Just to kind of interject that.
Yeah, just to very briefly touch on what we said about Fawad Alam. Look, I think, and I'm such a big believer that, yes, it's great to have very good technique and to look really good, but or they're just showing Hassan Ali's 100. If anyone who's watching, have a look. They're showing the highlights of it in the Qadi Azam Trophy. But yeah, in terms of, I mean, look at Hassan Ali, right? His technique is not great, and he's just spanking it everywhere, and he got 100. So it just shows, like, I think technique is very good, especially defensive technique in test matches. But if you can adopt a technique that works and is effective, it doesn't matter, I think, is the main point. And if you see, for example, someone like Joe Root in Sri Lanka, he played back to a lot of balls that most people come forward to, but it works for him because he gets his eyes under the ball and he plays late. The most important thing in batting is keeping your head still and making sure that you get in line with the ball and your timing's good. And those are the 3 things I'd say. Technique is added on to that. And Fawad Alam, his setup is very unorthodox, but it doesn't matter because he scored runs, as I just said. And you can't ignore someone just because they've got a bit of a weird technique if they're scoring runs. Like, you just have to pick them based on merit, I think. And if they hadn't seen his technique and they'd just seen his stats, they would have picked him, right? So I think that's what you need to think about for sure. In terms of Nortje bowling too many full tosses, I think he's trying to bowl a lot of Yorkers at the moment. And unfortunately, it's just he hasn't quite hit the spot. I think he's getting a bit frustrated considering this pitch isn't really particularly helpful, especially today, given it's gone a bit flatter as well. And he can't bowl too short on here because it just sits up. And we saw that because he tried to bowl shorter and Rizwan punished him. So did Fawad Alam as well when he did. Faheem Ashraf has as well. So even though he's quick, hold on, Hassan Ali is just lucky. So I was just thinking about Nortje bowling short, and Hassan Ali really should have it was short, but it was well directed to his body. So he should have either backed away to the leg side and gone over if he's going to go over gully or towards third man, if he's going to be aggressive, or get across. So he gets across to outside off stump and then pull it. But he didn't either, and he kind of stood still because Nortje is pretty quick. So it just rushed him. But yeah, a bit lucky there. But but yeah, I guess that's against the tail enders, he can probably get away with it a little bit. But otherwise, it's not too effective on here, I'd say. So then he's gone to the Yorker, which unfortunately he just hasn't been able to pull off. Oh, okay.
I think the defense that both of these batsmen have is pretty decent, which means he has to try different things. Maybe he tries a slower ball, right? Maybe he tries something that would completely change the pace.
Or a cutter even.
Yeah, exactly. Something that
it's turning, right? I mean, imagine you might be able to get off it.
Exactly. Oh, Rado, Switzerland. Oh, nice. Good sponsors, that. I like that. 3 overs left in the day. What do you think? And I don't want you to give me a number, but tell me, what do you think so far? Have you been impressed with Pakistan's batting?
I have been really impressed with Pakistan's batting. I think it's been really, really good. And Venue has it been Pakistan's day? I would say yes. Even if we got bowled out now, I'll probably say yes. Mainly just because I'm looking at it from the point of view that I didn't think we'd even get to 300. But I think actually, if you look at it objectively, I think if we can stay as we are, or get to 100 plus, then you're thinking, yes, 100% is Pakistan's day. And I think everyone would say that. But in the back of my head, all I'm thinking is, if we chase a decent score, or we have to chase a decent score on the second inning, on day 4 or day 5, we could easily collapse. Oh, come on. What is Hassan Ali doing?
You had to say it. You had to say it, Fazan, didn't you? You had to say it.
Hassan Ali just trying to sweep it. Oh, hello, Boomer. How you doing? Thank you for joining us. Hassan Ali just gone to sweep. Why is he trying to sweep that? That's bizarre. That is bizarre. He just hasn't picked the length, and he's played onto his stumps. Hamza, it's my cousin. Assalamualaikum, Hamza. How you doing? Thank you for joining. I hope you're doing well and enjoying your lunch break. I'm sure you're working very hard and enjoying the cricket. If you have any questions, let me know. What do you think about the Pakistan game? Are you impressed by Pakistan's performance, or do you think we're not doing?
Is that a no ball?
No, I don't think it is.
I call that a no ball.
That's a no ball. That's no ball.
That's a no ball. It's not behind the line. No, they call that a no ball. That should be a no ball.
Yeah, that's a no ball. Oh, he got lucky there. Yeah, Boomer, he was gone. He's lucky now. If he plays another silly shot like that, then I'm going to be really upset, because there's no need to play that. Oh, he's not happy. He's saying, no, he's on the line. No, you can't.
The line is out nowadays, man.
Yeah. The line. You have to have something. You have to have something behind the line. Exactly. That's why Quinton de Kock complaining about it. You can't complain about it like this.
Yeah, chill out, Hassan. Come on, man. Don't play. Go on.
I think it's because, Quinton de Kock was like moaning about it. Hassan Ali's like, nah, mate, I need to come here to get my 100. He's obviously in that mood, given he scored 100 in the Guardian Azam final. What score would be happy to chase? That's a really good point. What do you think, Asjad?
On the last day.
Yeah.
Nothing. Ball out South Africa under the lead that Pakistan gives them.
No, but as in realistically,
nothing above 200. Nothing above 200. Probably 150, 160, 100 maybe. 160, I'd say as a maximum. Ideally 100 or less.
Okay. So is Pakistan leading on trading? So we're leading by. I forgot what the lead is now. It's
86.
86. Yeah. Thank you, Asjad. And Hassan Ali has just had a reprieve, so hopefully he can bat a little bit. So we need like 20, 30 from him. That'll be great if we can get that from him. No ball, yeah. No. I don't know why they're moaning about it, because that's just the rules now. Hamza, haven't really been watching. It's okay. We'll keep you updated, and I'm sure you're working very hard.
Like and subscribe.
No, he has. I'm sure he has. I'm sure he has. But yeah, guys, like it. Please make sure you like the video. It does help, and I'm sure you all have subscribed. So thank you very much, and thanks for joining us as well. It's been a very, very good. It's been a very, very good day for Pakistan so far. It's funny, Hamza actually. So my mum was just posted saying we've got a sports group saying that was very village from Hassan Ali, and that was pretty village, that sweep. But
that's
lucky boy.
Du Plessis dropped a catch. That's something you don't see every day.
That was hard though. I don't think he even got there. Or if he did,
got that. I think he got that.
I think it's one of those ones where he's running and having to just grab it in midair is difficult.
You remember that catch Shahid Afridi took in 2009 T20 World Cup against New Zealand?
That was amazing.
That was class. Remember that?
Oh,
changed the entire world.
That sweep though, by the first sweep was village when he got out, and then now what's he doing here?
He wants to just smash the spin. This is something you'll notice that this is the reason why he wasn't sent up the order. That's why you send someone like Nouman Ali, who is pretty decent with his defense. Hassan Ali's defense isn't as good, and exactly what I was going to say. Thank 100%. You, Boomer, for your comment. Completely agree with you. I think Hassan Ali, it's not nerves anymore. I think this is just irresponsible. It is very Chandimal of him, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, anyone who watched the Sri Lankan game, 100%. And the thing is, he's trying to sweep against the spin. So if you're going to sweep against the spin, you have to make sure you get in line with it. And he's not. He's literally he's leg side of the ball trying to sweep. Like, it's impossible. He either needs to get across the stumps if he wants to do that, or reverse it. Like, it's not the right shot to play. I personally would just tell him, if you want to hit the ball, use your feet, get to the pitch of the ball. Who was doing it very well yesterday. Mohammad Rizwan was doing it very well today, I thought. And clearly Hassan Ali he'll have decent feet, I'd assume. So I think he should do that if he wants to. I don't think the sweep is clearly not working, so he just needs to put it away. Or just watching the replay. That's a hard catch. See, I don't actually know if he...
Hard catch. Yeah, I'd give you that. He didn't reach it.
He didn't really get there. He tried. By the time he got there, he thought, okay, I need to put my hands out and hopefully it sticks. But Nouman Ali looks solid, man.
He is. You saw that. He has a batting average of almost 20, which for a tail end is pretty good. Pretty good.
To be honest with you as well, like, I know this sounds really silly, but I'm glad that we've brought people in who can bat a little bit at the tail, because, knowing Pakistan, there's always going to be a collapse at some point, and you need tail enders who can bat. And if you see someone, and I always use the same example, but like Australia with Stark and Cummins, and even Lyon and Hazel can bat a little bit, then it does help. And if you can add 50, 60, 70 runs, like, it's a massive, massive plus, isn't it? I think
that's the biggest thing. I don't know if you noticed, but Australia is a good example. England is usually a good example. New Zealand is a damn good example. Are you kidding me? New Zealand. Wagner can smash it. Jamieson can smash it. Bolt can when he wants to. And we saw with India in that final test, they didn't need to, but, their lower order kind of came in, helped out against Australia in multiple games. So, yeah, the lower order is very important nowadays, especially because, certain teams, and I don't just mean Pakistan, but a lot of teams nowadays do have collapses at the top of the order. So the lower order has to do some sort of saving job. And they have men of crisis. As an example, you have Mohammad Rizwan for Pakistan, Faheem Ashraf sometimes over the course of the last couple of series. That is end of play. It is 308 for 8. Hassan Ali and Nouman Ali both batting together, right? At the end of the day.
I think 308 for 8, I would have taken that 100% at the start of the day if someone said it to me.
130 runs in that final session. You see that? Almost 4 run rate.
I know.
That is fantastic. Quality.
Yeah. And the thing is, Boomer actually, so Boomer said here, the bowlers are always happy when the batsman tries to sweep. It means he isn't reading it off the hands. He should instead use his feet and try to mess up his length. Okay, I would normally agree with you. However, the one thing I would say is, if you see Joe Root in Sri Lanka, he loves a sweep. And to be fair, we'll see, because in India, I think we'll see how he does there as well. But I think if it's a shot, you need to play the shots that, are your strength, if that makes sense. And as a batsman, for example, as someone who even just played the club level like me, I'm not going to play certain shots. I'm like a reverse sweep. I'm not going to play that, right? Because I know it's not my game. So similarly, like Hassan Ali, I don't think if you watch the so Venu's saying about he hit 100 in his last first class match, he didn't hit a single sweep in any of those shots that I saw in the highlights. He used his feet, so then he should be doing that, as Boomer's saying. But someone like Joe Root, he swept like 75, 80% of the balls that he faced against Sri Lanka for that double 100 and 180. But he can do that because that is his shot. Like, that's his go-to shot against spin. So I just think it depends. I think some bowlers, will think, yeah, okay, it's a good thing they're sweeping, but then as soon as they get swept for, like 24s and 6s from Joe Root, then they're thinking, okay, maybe we should stop. Maybe this isn't a good thing. Okay, Venu says, yeah, Hassan Ali hit 100 in his first class match. Yep, he did. Hopefully he can do the same. That'd be great. Stumps, yeah. How costly will that drop be? I don't think it'll be. So it's off Hassan Ali, right? So it shouldn't be too risky, I would say. The reason why I say that depends. If Hassan Ali just tees off tomorrow, which I'm sure he'll try to, and actually get some runs, then it will be. We'll see. I think that comment will age well or badly depending on what happens tomorrow. Venue. I think if it was someone like the Faheem drop was quite vital. I think at 21, if they'd taken that was a big turning point, because then they would have had new batsmen to look at. But then he went on, scored quickly, as Asjad rightly said, and put us in that position to get to that 300 mark. Boomer says sweet pull.
I was just going to say, they're just going through the highlights, and I've noticed something. South Africa, it doesn't look like South Africa bowled badly, like in the highlights even. Like the deliveries Pakistan was smashing. Yes, some of them were loose deliveries, but all in all, I thought this was a good cricket day, right? Yes, Pakistan is in front now, which is great to see. Absolutely ecstatic. Very jealous that you have to get this on your channel and I can't do it on mine. Really glad, because then all I have to do is complain when Pakistan does terribly tomorrow. But the wickets have been shared between all four bowlers. Rabada, the star of the show, 2 for 45. What are you kidding me? Such a brilliant talent, man. This guy,
dude, strike rate of 40. Strike rate of 40, average of 23, I think, or just under 20. This guy is, I'm telling you, anyone who doesn't think he's a good bowler doesn't know their cricket. In Test cricket, he's a beast. And in all three formats, he's a beast. And I think a lot of people maybe forget about him because South Africa aren't at the top of their game at the moment. But do not disregard how good this guy is. He should be, he'll probably be in every single format 11, like World 11 for me.
I put him in my Test 11 for sure. I don't know about the other formats, but at least in Test cricket,
yeah, 100%.
Cummins, and for me, and again, you can call it bias, and Jasprit Bumrah probably always get into my top 3, 4, at least Test cricket. Bumrah gets into every format, but let's not go there either. So yeah, I think these guys, South Africa, you've seen they have bowling talent, pace bowling talent like crazy, right? They've got Nortje, who hasn't played that many matches, right?
They've lost a lot to PAK as well. They've lost a lot to PAK as well.
Loads. Olivier, I can't remember his full name, but it was Olivier.
Carlab, but they lost for a little bit. He's back, but they lost him. Yeah.
They've got Ngidi. They've got Mulder back. They've got Sapamla back in the sheds. So their bench strength is decent. It's not anything like England or India, but it's a lot better than Pakistan the way I see it. And I think what they've done in this day today has been quite impressive for me. I think Pakistan controlling the runs in the first session and a half, first 2 sessions, they didn't let Pakistan get away from them. Fine, Pakistan stayed in the crease, didn't lose any wickets, but I don't think Pakistan would have gotten away from them. But in that final session, as we pointed out, they did a commendable job. Pakistan, I'm kind of impressed with at the moment with regards to that late order kind of fight back. Fawad Alam and Faheem Ashraf specifically, yes, streaky but effective at the end of it.
Yeah, I'm super happy with the day, to be honest with you. Super happy. I just think, like, Pakistan, to get past 300 for me is a big bonus. So I'm just happy that we got to that. If we can get to that 100+ lead, then thank you very much. That's all I'm going to say. Boomer says sweep will be very risky against Ashwin. I think he's talking about Joe Root. Yeah, I think, but Joe Root won't put it away. I think he's that good a sweeper of the ball, but Ashwin is very good, and especially in home conditions. That's going to be a really big battle. And I think it'll actually be, that's probably the battle to look out for in the England versus India series, Ashwin versus Root. So yeah, watch this space. I'm sure me and Ashwin will both be covering it. So let's see how that goes, and I'm sure we'll be doing a live on one of the games as well. So that'll be interesting to see who gets the upper hand there. Venue. Oh, that's interesting. Ooh, how old is Rabada?
26.
It depends, Venue. I think, and the biggest thing I'd say, he's 25. So the biggest thing I'd say is, okay, so if he doesn't get injured, right, he's got, let's say he's got until 33, right? Let's say realistically, maybe till 33. So that's 8 years. He's on 200 wickets now. I think it's going to be really tough to get 400 wickets in 7 years. But I think the thing is, Venue, I think with Anderson is that he is built for longevity, because he's now developed an action that's repeatable, and he doesn't rely too much on pace. And I think eventually when Rabada gets to the end of his career, he won't need to, because I feel like he has quite good control. But he's not as, I don't know what the right word is. I don't see him as a bowler that can swing it both ways and see it both ways. He's someone who is very, very good at the things he does. Like he'll get good seam movement, but he doesn't swing the ball a huge amount like James Anderson. But we'll see, because actually I want to see him in England conditions. I know he bowled quite well last time when he was in England, but I'm sure he'll keep on working on his game. But I think that's going to be difficult.
Mathematically, right? Yeah. If you look at the statistics, Anderson should be displaced by Rabada, right? Rabada has 200 wickets in 44 test matches, and James Anderson has 600 wickets in 157 or 158 test matches. Okay? So the way I see it is, to answer Venu's question, Rabada will if he plays as long as James Anderson. That's my take.
Exactly. Yeah, that's 100%. As long as he doesn't pick up many injuries as well, then yeah, 100%.
England plays a lot more test matches though as well. Just
they do
it this way. They're playing 17 test matches this year. Yeah. New Zealand are playing 6, and Pakistan are playing 4 or 5 or something like that. So yeah, they play a lot more test, which is why they get a lot of their bowlers playing test matches, getting wickets. If they play at home, they're going to get a lot more wickets, aren't they? Stuart Broad has 500 wickets. I'm not sure about Stuart Broad's statistics.
Yeah, I think that feeds into it, doesn't it? Considering that James Anderson and Broad have played a lot more matches that obviously in their home conditions are a lot easier than even South Africa for Rabada. So I think that does play into it for sure. Boomer says, I'm expecting Ashwin to completely shut down Ben Stokes' record against left-handers are that impressive. You know what? I'm not going to touch on this too much. I'll tell you why. Because I feel like this is going to be it's going to be a long tour. I feel like this is going to be, I don't want to give my opinions on this away too much. I think Ashwin against Ben Stokes, Ashwin against Root, I feel like those two battles, as Boomer just rightly pointed out, are going to be so vital to see how that tour goes, especially in the test matches. Let's see. I think it's going to be a very, very good battle. Some people are saying 3-0 India. Some people are saying that England are going to win, etc. Actually, you know what? We can do predictions quickly. What do you think, Asjad, from the 4-match test series? What do you think?
It'll be 2-1 either way, but more likely than not, I think it'll be India 2-1. I think India 2-1.
Okay. And Boomer says if that happens, there'll be too much pressure on jury. Yeah, I think it's difficult. I think it's going to be very evenly contested. I don't think you should write England off too much given how well they played in Sri Lanka. But of course, India just had an absolute blinder in Australia. So
you have to consider the fact that 1, India are playing at home. 2, England played Sri Lanka at home, fine, but it's no offense to Sri Lanka right now. Sorry, Venu, but Sri Lanka's current team is not the greatest. Therefore, they had one bowler who took 10 wickets in a game. Every other bowler was absolutely horrendous, for lack of a better term, right? With India, they're going to have at least three proper bowlers based on, any of if no one else gets injured. And Boomer's just said, I don't see a draw happening.
I'm going to say 2-2 then. I'm going to say 2-2.
I think there's going to be a draw. I said it. I think I said before the Australia-India series that I see at least one draw and one loss for Australia, but then India would one loss for Australia and Australia to win the series initially. So at the moment, I'm going to say 2-1 to India, maybe 3-1 if there's no draws. But I'm going to stick with 2-1.
Yeah, I'll go with 2-2. But let's see. I'm sure I'll change my mind.
That is so diplomatic, Fazan. That is the most diplomatic answer.
I'll tell you why. Because I'll go through my reasoning very quickly. India, I think, have had a very, very good. They've clearly had an incredibly good tour in Australia, but I think coming back into home conditions, they'll still have to adapt to it. It's difficult to just suddenly come back into even if it's your home conditions, as we saw Sri Lanka in the first test against England. Again, yes, India are a different outfit, and at the moment they're at the top of their game. If we look at it from a generational point of view, but England have come in. They'll be coming into similar conditions in Sri Lanka. They've clearly shown a little bit of fight there. They'll be having Stokes coming back, Archer coming back. I think Archer will do well on those tracks, and Stokes I think plays spin pretty well as well. But I think England are at the top of their game as well, but to win in India is very, very tough. So I don't really see them winning the series. The last time they did that was with Monty Panesar and Graham Swan, and they don't have those spinners, I don't think. They might go with Moyne and Leach, I would probably assume. But they're going to need to score big, big runs if they have any chance. And I'm going to, given Joe Root's form, I think only on that pretty much alone, I'm saying that if he gets a lot of runs, and I think they can be, it could maybe be something like 2-2. But otherwise, I think it's going to clearly. I mean, India are going to go into that the favourites, aren't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I'll tell you this: if India lose the series, it would be worse than Australia losing in Australia. So it's that kind of unlikeliness that you need a series, or you need England to perform so well that no one expects it. Like, I have not heard anyone say that England's going to win the series. I've barely heard anyone say England's going to win a match. Right? So yeah, exactly. There you go. That's a brilliant comment by Boober. Please read that out for me, Fawad.
Says India hasn't lost a single match in like the last 7 years at home. Okay, I believe 11 is their current streak. Not entirely sure. That's really interesting. Okay, well let's see then. So obviously that's probably why they're going in it as complete favourites. But the one thing I'm going to say, Boomer, is after the Gabba, you'll know more than anyone that records are there to be broken. That's all I'm going to say. I would be surprised if England don't win a single match. But clearly India are very imperious at home. But again, so Australia at the Gabba since 1988. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's cricket and anything can happen. Anyway, I think we're going to wrap up here. Thank you everyone for joining, though. I really do appreciate it. We had quite a few people on for my only second live, so I'm really happy to have everyone. And thank you for all the questions. It's been really good. Thanks, Asjad, as well, for being on. Anything you want to touch upon before we wrap up?
Yeah, day 3 is going to be fun. I can't wait for day 3. Let's hope Pakistan can get this lead to at least 100 runs and then go from there. But first aim, 100 runs, then end of the session. Pakistan needs to play at least for the first session tomorrow anyway to get a hefty lead. And yeah, please like, share, subscribe to to Quality Short, and then also Cricket4Us 2.0. Sorry, you do your job, man. Leave it. Let's leave it.
No, it's fine. It's funny. I was just saying that. It's funny. I thought that was a tactical one. It says I'll say England will win one test, and Boomer says that's what I'm scared about. I love this Indian England rivalry. I can't wait for us to do the lives and reviews on this. It'll be great to have people like Matt and Boomer in the comments. It'll be great. No, thank you again, Ashraf, for being on. And yes, please do subscribe, like, comment, and share Ashraf's videos on Cricket4Us 2.0. And also, please, like this stream, like my videos, share, comment, and of course subscribe. Thank you very much. I'm sure most of you have anyway. I know you have. So I really appreciate it. And are we going to be doing a live on yours tomorrow, potentially?
Potentially. I haven't got anything set yet, but if I do, I'll post it in the discussion, or I'll share a story or something like that. But thank you, Boomer. Thank you for joining. Love it. CFA Nation here as well. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you.
No, yeah, thank you again, guys. And yeah, as I said, hopefully, and I was saying, hopefully we can do a live tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll be on anyway for a review. What a innings by Fawad Alam is all I want to say, just to wrap up. And well played to him, and well played to Pakistan. Hopefully, I'm sure day 3 is going to be even more closely contested. But it's looking like it's shaping up to be a really good and quality test match. Thanks very much, guys, and I'll see you later. Thank you.